I don't think that you can clearly say that people are necessary to bring change in the world.
We fetishize too much the concept of youth, energy, this emotion, the destructive, the dramatic aspect, the romanticization of this kind of thing, without really thinking of what is actually the project of change. What is change? Are we doing change for the sake of change? What change that we are talking about? What do we actually want to change? Hi, welcome to our next installment of Sidang, episode 8. Hi, I'm Lukman.
I'm saying today we will talk about youth,
Idealism
and power.
and power. Yeah. So
Before we begin, Ruben, how what was thoughts on the previous episode of AI?
I think the previous the previous episode on AI is quite heavy lah. Adventures in a lot of things because there's a lot of intersecting elements. Other elements on the real technological advancement, the policy, on the infrastructure. But what's most important for me is the call to action lah, to have much more clarity lah, on policy making.
Yeah,
What do you
agree? I think we mentioned at the beginning that a lot of it is noise. And hopefully we try to provide an overview of what actually AI is, the technology itself, and also the issues surrounding the technology. But I think the summary was AI is here to stay. AI has been around for 60, 70 years. It's going to be around for a long time. And we have to adapt or not. You're going to be left behind in a serious way. And that means, potentially catastrophic results. So be adaptive and try to adapt to AI regardless of your age. That was the message. Okay, so shall we deep dive into our topic today? Maybe Luman, what is your mukadimah?
Mukadimah. Right. The mukadimah is I forgot my spectacles, my glasses, my home.
So you cannot see today.
So I cannot see clearly what's in front of me. But I can teka lah. Oh, what's that button is supposed to be ke apa ke. But I think, synchronicity lah. Synchronicity. Because what we are discussing, what we will be discussing today revolves a lot on the concept of rabun, the concept of, you can see very well in front of us.
Sure.
But because of some blurry aspect, and it's hard for us to gauge what's really our goal is.
Yeah.
So that encapsulates the topic of the thing that we wanted to talk about today, which is youth, idealism, and power. And how to say it, the mukadimah, the youth, idealism, and power, because like all good critiques, comes with a common complaint, right? And the complaint, at least for me, I don't know about the aim.
Yeah.
My complaint is we affix too much, we fetishize too much the concept of youthful vigor, youthful energy, this emotional, emotional rigor, waiting for the next evolution. The destructive, the dramatic aspect, the romanticization of this kind of thing, without really thinking of what is actually the project of change. What is change? Are we doing change for the sake of change? What change that we are talking about? What do we actually want to change? So, what do you think? What do you think?
It's interesting perspective, and just to come a bit differently. Whenever we think of idealism and change, power, idealism is always associated with young people. Most of the time, the ones at the forefront are usually young people, students, and generally young people. And then power would be associated usually with people who are older, more conservative, wants to see power. Rarely do you think of old people leading change, but actually there are examples like Bernie Sanders, senator from US, that is actually very idealistic for his age, and he's trying to push for more evolutionary change in the United States. This topic is very interesting because whenever we talk about youth idealism and power, it doesn't really come up in the think tank discussion. It only comes up between activist circles,
CSOs.
CSOs, activists, NGOs. So it's not always you see think tanks like ASI talking about youth idealism and power. But I think it was I was saying I think it would be interesting to understand the evolution of maybe youth of activism, including young people, in Malaysia. These broad strokes of the history to where we are today, and maybe we can even touch about the world, about the idea of youth idealism and power. Because I don't think it's as straightforward as it sounds. I don't think that you can clearly say that people are necessary to bring change in the world. I don't think so. Because I think of these two extremes. On one hand, we have youth apathy. People, especially young people, they will say, "Oh, youth apathy. Young people don't care about politics anymore. They're not interested in voting. They're not interested in organizing. Not interested in being part of the civic life." Okay, so civic engagement is low amongst young people, supposedly lah. And then on the other hand, there are images of Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, where young people are pushing for change and at the forefront of revolutionary change. What they call what the media calls as Gen Z revolution. Where young people are at the forefront. So which one is it? Is it young people are apathetic, or are they at the forefront of change? So that's why I think it's not as straightforward as we think it is. I think we need to maybe dissect further to understand this topic.
Macam lupa.
No respect.
Itulah. You know, the absence of spectacles makes me dumb. So the from perspective of youth, I think I'm a youth myself. Gen Z lah. So not really. I think I'm nearing 30.
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
I'm Gen Y.
Gen Y. So speaking about the idealism, the optimism stuff, when I was growing up, the common news that I observe is all the promise of change. Like during 2001 lah, 2001, there's people all around the world, they're protesting Bush. Of the Iraq War, the Saddam Hussein and the Libyan changes, and also right after that, the Islamists gaining grounds, propelled by none other than our beloved Ibrahim and his cadres of activists, Islamic activists. And what more? Then not long after that, I think less than a decade, quite less than a decade, the Syrian war broke out. And the Syrian war was also propelled by the Arab Spring. And then what else happened? And then a lot of things happened. But the essence of it is all these things that have been regurgitated in the news is kind of like promising some kind of change, some kind of better things. But as for me, like, because all this news happened during my formative years. When I didn't receive the change that was promised, it led to a lot of apathy. Not really apathy lah, but the pessimism and disillusionment. I think across the generational gap, there's some sociologies that talk about the different flavors of philosophy of life between the generation. And like for baby boomers is the weaponized infancy. You know about the concept of weaponized infancy, which is the baby boomers will tend to weaponizing their ignorance so that other people can work for them. Like during their own time, they don't know how to use computers. They will ask the previous generation to help them, and even now they don't know how to navigate telephones.
Yeah.
And now they're asking the younger generation to do it for them.
Sure.
And to be fair, this kind of thing is not that hard to learn. It's just it's ingrained in their mindset, in their culture, which is to weaponize this kind of infancy.
Yes.
And then right after, I think right after baby boomers and lost generation and stuff, the flavor just so happens to be different. For millennials, I think millennials is the peak of this youth activism, youth politics.
Yeah.
And it is also driven from what the sociologists, I will plug in the description. The sociologists also say that millennials have this kind of optimism.
Yeah.
Because even though you see Linkin Park music video, right? They're talking about the destruction of the future, the end is near, whatever. But they're still screaming and they're still talking about hope because they wanted to build something better. They know the destruction is there.
Yeah.
But they wanted to build something better because they're not the first person that receives this kind of the destructive environment.
Sure.
Yeah. But after the 2008 financial crisis, when the dissolution of anything real, the economic forces, so on and so forth, it shaped the mindset of the Gen Zers and the Gen Alphas to not only have this pessimistic view towards the system, but also pessimistic view towards their own history and their own potential and also their own, say, trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they create this kind of pessimistic aspect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Generations are products of their environment.
Yeah.
So they found, I don't know, I think this, I think back on just looking at this, reminds me of this Strauss-Howe generation theory.
Yeah. Strauss-Howe
generation theory. And it's very debatable, being criticized. But essentially, this idea that every 21 years there's a new cycle, or so to speak, right? And every generation will be shaped by their environment. So millennials are more optimistic because of the period where this is very American focus. As Americans have to do, like Obama was elected. A lot of progressive politics was in flux during this period, the 2010s. You had the GFC, global financial crisis, but you also had a lot of progressive, I suppose, milestones.
Milestones.
I don't want to get into this because it's very American centric. Then Gen Z are more pessimistic because COVID was a big thing in I suppose the worldview of Gen Z, right? They're very pessimistic, sometimes cynical, economic crisis in this period. So generations are product of their environment, but I'm also very skeptical of Gen Z, Gen Y, millennials, baby boomers. I remember reading it somewhere that this is actually marketing term. Like Gen Y, Gen Z, these are all marketing terms. There's an author, I can't remember the person's name, but Twitter or something, but this person wrote his book about baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. It's a marketing term because it's easy to sell this. When you're doing marketing, right? Then you sell, I can sell, let's market this to Gen Y.
So you quantify.
You brand it.
You brand it.
You're branding it like, but in actual fact, if I'm being meta here, I don't think it's clear cut Gen Y, Gen Z. But going back to youth, and I'm just gonna deep dive here. When we talk about Malaysia or Malaya before independence, if you went to government school, you did SPM, PSA, PT3, PMR, or SPM, sejarah or history class, you have learned about this period before independence.
Yeah.
Where there was this environment of, we were under the British and Japanese during this period also, the 30s and 50s, Japanese and British. World War II, Japanese defeated the British to occupy our country, and then the British came back. And during this period, there was this fervor of left-wing activism in the country. In the early 20th century, left-wing politics was very dominant across the world. And it actually came to, I suppose, the Nusantara region. And you have a number of activists that wrote and advocated via printed press or ceramah the idea that we should govern our own land. Okay, I'm simplifying here, but essentially that's what it is.
There's a zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist, correct.
Yeah.
So you have a few movements. I want to mention this. KMM, Kesatuan Melayu Muda, your favorite.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or the real name is Kami Mahu Merdeka.
Great. Excellent. Ibrahim Yaakob.
Ibrahim Yaakob.
Your favorite. You have this PKMM,
KMM.
Kesatuan Melayu Malaya. PKMM.
Yeah.
And they have the youth movement, which I think has the coolest name. API.
Api.
Angkatan Pemuda Insaf.
Your
favorite.
Yeah.
Led by Ahmad.
Bersama.
Yes, which we later mentioned also.
It
was the president of PRM.
PRM, yeah.
Okay,
Your favorite party.
Also, we have Putra AMCGA, right? Don't forget these guys. These guys are the connection between Malays and non-Malays.
Yeah.
That fought the British. And they had this hartal, remember? They called for hartal.
How about Hizbul Muslimin? Shouldn't forget.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, in fact,
Dr. Baharudin Helmi.
he later on became the president of PAS. Known as the socialist president of PAS.
Yeah.
Left wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But after he stepped down, passed away, PAS became very right wing. Very nationalist, then after that, Islamist. So during this period, broadly speaking, the young people that were part of these movements were very anti-colonial, pushing for British to essentially give independence to Malaya. Right? UMNO came later on in 46. UMNO came later on, and UMNO had a more, I suppose, conservative approach. They opposed Malay Union in 1948, but they also wanted to negotiate with the British in forming independent Malaya lah. The theme of this era was anti-colonialism. And also left wing. I have to say this is very left wing.
Yeah.
But because of the, I suppose the fear of the red, right? The fear of the communists, a lot of the left wing movements were crushed in the 50s and 60s. Another in the 50s, another thing worth mentioning is University Malaya. I don't want to get to the weeds here because University Malaya started off in Singapore, then they have a Malaysia campus, then after that the Malaysia campus became the big campus, then the one in Singapore became NUS. NUS, yeah. Then over here became University Malaya. And University Malaya, do you know, Roman? The University Malaya Student Union ran their own bus. Yeah. They ran their own bus. They ran their own market. They have their own everything. Everything they ran the campus. 100%. Right? And I think they obviously had tensions with the administrator. But University Malaya Student Union was actually very powerful in the 50s and 60s. And obviously because of Auku, later on he got clamped down. During this period also, when UMSU, I don't know what it's called, University Malaya Student Union.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, from Malaya.
You know,
I'm not from my father is from UM, but they also had the University Malaya University Socialist Club. There's a even a book about this, about how left-wing young people were in campus fighting for political freedom, education freedom, academic freedom, criticizing government, and fighting for national issues. I think the key here is, I think students at this time were not only fighting for campus issues, they were also fighting for national issues. National issues. There's a big difference here, because later on, I think many of them, as was many of the people in our generation, fight for campus issues. Yeah, so they are in both. After independence, after Malaysia was formed, 65, there's a movement worth mentioning, which is ABIM. Angkatan Belia Islam Malaysia. Also sometimes known as Anwar bin Ibrahim movement. Because Anwar was one of the co-founders. Yeah. And he became president, I think, in this, I don't know, 71, 73. That was his time. And ABIM was the movement in the 70s. The movement, yeah. And Anwar was the man. In this time, left-wing politics obviously was crushed in the 60s, but in the 70s, there was a force that was going up against Malay nationalism, and there was Islamism. Yeah, so ABIM was the vehicle to push for Islamism. Not really PAS. PAS at the time was Malay nationalist. Under Asli Muda. So they were Malay nationalist. ABIM pushed for Islamist politics. Islamist, IST, right? Basically, it's political Islam. right? How do we inject Islam into politics, in the governance lah? And Anwar Ibrahim,
That's when reading Mak Surat it become popular.
Really?
Mak Surat. Belum baca doa Arawita kan. Usrah.
Betul. Yeah, absolutely. And in this period also, right?
Yeah.
There's a very popular protest by students.
Was it
74 Baling protest.
Baling protest?
Because the protest happened because the farmers in Baling protested first.
Yeah.
Against, I think, the collapse of the rubber prices. Rubber prices, I think, collapsed. They protested. And then after that, Anwar Ibrahim and Abid and students, generally speaking, led the charge to be in solidarity with the farmers. And by the way, they got crushed also. And Anwar Ibrahim went to ISA, detention for 2 years. 74-76. And AUKU, which is basically the University and University Colleges Act, essentially clamped down on student activism. And that was introduced by Minister of Education at the time, which was Mahathir. And Mahathir subsequently, as we all know, became Prime Minister. Now, I'm saying this because I think it's very interesting that you look at history, because sometimes when we look at history in a 50-year cycle, a lot of things that we see today is just, in many ways, a cycle. It's not to say that, wow, this is completely new, right? No, activism is alive and well. This is where even before 40s pun dah
lama
dah. It's forever dah. But I started with 40s because it's an easier timeline to talk about. We can talk about, I think, before that also. In fact, there were many, right?
Yeah.
Kaum Muda, Kaum Tua,
Betul.
Islam. But I started with this, it's easier to follow. Okay. Where are we now? So we've talked about Abid. In the 80s and 90s, it wasn't a very sexy type of democracy in Indonesia. Ops Lalang 57, a lot of activists were arrested. Opposition also was very weak because UMNO was very strong. You had a few CSOs that came out against that. You have two favorites, which is Suara and Aliran. Shout out to you guys in Penang, Aliran. You guys. Aliran was more intellectual. Very much intellectual. They have I think they even had a paper. Yeah, like a newspaper. I know, like a weekly.
Persatuan
bulletin.
pengguna
Yeah. Very popular.
Yeah.
And I think even Anwar wrote it. Yeah. Channel Muzaffar, Aliran. Suara. Suara. Rakyat Malaysia.
Sorry.
Yeah, Suara. They fight for human rights. And they were against detention. Yeah, this guy, I'm reading off this thing here, but Hua Kia Sok, I'm getting it wrong. He's actually a Chinese educationist. He wrote the book called The Chinese Dilemma. Maybe I heard that lah. Sorry.
Is it there's a dragon on the cover? I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Talks about Chinese issues.
Yeah, Chinese issues.
Chinese demographics, which is in Malaysia, Chinese economy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's an educationist. Okay. 80s, 90s, there were young people. Don't get me wrong, they were activists. Yeah. But it was not easy time for democracy. Malaysia had the roaring economy in the 90s. People were more interested in making money than they were in democracy. Broadly speaking, I'm generalizing here, and I'm going to get attacked by activists. But it was a difficult time because you had ISA, sedition, you had a number of repressive laws that clamped down on democracy. Even Printing Press Act, right? You could publish anything you want. 1997, the Asia Financial Crisis.
AFC.
Okay, not to be confused with the Asian Football Federation, also AFC. It's like full two things. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, AFC, Asia Financial Crisis.
Yeah. The year where my parents thought it was sexy to have a kid.
Excellent time to have children. Economy, essentially, I mean, we were sheltered in many ways compared to Thailand and Indonesia.
Yes.
Indonesia had Reformasi, and that led to the toppling of Suharto, and that Reformasi in Indonesia was led by young people, students, and toppled the president. Right? Malaysia also had our own form of Reformasi. In 1998, a year after the financial crisis, Anwar Ibrahim was unceremoniously sacked and removed as Deputy Prime Minister and Deputy President of UMNO. And that led the Reformasi movement. So I was alive during that period. I actually saw that. I remember seeing that period. I was in school, people talking about Reformasi. I even remember my parents brought me to a Barisan Alternative rally.
Yeah.
Barisan Alternative was basically the
Are you like Barisan Alternative ni?
Rumah kan? Okay lah, let's go check it out. Okay, so check it out, right? It was a carnival, right? The drama was a carnival atmosphere. Everybody went there. well, to see what those activities had to say. Ibrahim was a symbol of resistance. Ibrahim is a character that you're going to hear over and over again if you talk about youth activism in Malaysia.
Yeah.
From the 70s, man.
From the 70s.
Yeah. Reformasi Reformasi was on 38. The 39 year election. Opposition didn't win. Didn't win. Because most of the non-Muslims, non-Malays supported the government, whereas the Malays supported the opposition. But the government still won lah. But UMNO was badly hurt lah. Okay. I'm going to skip 2 or 5 years after that. Pala era. 2007. The very first Bersih rally. Bersih, the yellow shirts. Right? Bersih. And ini bukan yellow. Ada
Yellow stuff.
Ada yellow stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Itu je budaya kuning.
Budaya kuning. So, Bersih fought for free fair elections lah.
Yeah.
And Bersih one was actually not a CSO led. It was actually political parties led. It was led by the opposition parties lah. Bersih 2 was led by CSOs.
Yeah. Biga,
Mariachi, all your favorite guys lah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think how many Bersirs do we have? 5, 7 Bersir. Multiple lah.
There's a lot lah.
Banyak gila. I went to a few.
Yeah.
Nanti masa tu haram juga pergi. Pergi je lah kan.
It's okay lah.
Kita demokratik.
Kita tengok lah.
Kita tengok kan.
Kita participate.
Tak. Kita observe. Monitor.
Kita tengok ni. Ada teropong.
Betul dah.
Tuan Datuk.
Saya tak pergi. Saya tak pergi.
Saya ada permit.
Saya ni monitor. Tiap jangan ke tak?
Siapa CIG? Sorry.
Kita orang je ada. So during this period, 2007 to 2018 lah, there was also climate youth movements lah. Kelima, kumpulan hijau, Linus kan? Linus. 2017-2018, another movement came up. UDET. Actually started from MGSA, which is a movement that actually I had some role to play lah in the foundation of it. But basically it's the Malaysia Student Global Alliance lah. Cik, macam bangga pula.
Tak apa, you should be
masa muda lah.
Masa muda. Dah lama dah.
I remember when the co-founders of UDET, Tarman Kira, they've put a petition out I was one of the first persons to sign it. I was number 7, number 8 lah. Okay, to sign it. To lower the voting age from 21 to 18 years old. Long story, banyak fighting and that. Society fought for it. Minister of Youth Sports Society fought for it. And then the government agreed, reneged, and then basically U-turn. Lepas tu agree balik. Eventually passed. And 2022 was the first election where 18 years old voted lah. Okay, do this period also. We have a youth-centric party that came out. 2021, 2022 lah. 2021. Around that time. The party is called?
Muda. Malaysian
United Democratic Alliance.
Yeah.
Apa tu?
Yeah.
Malaysian United Democratic Alliance.
Really sih?
Muda. Ikatan Demokratik Malaysia.
Ya, betul.
Ya. Nama Melayu tak silsilah
Ya, Ikatan Demokratik
Malaysia.
Semua terikat.
Sadiq was the leader of Muda, and Sadiq was the youngest minister in Malaysian history at the age of 26 or 25. Very young guy. Okay, so I went to the history. Panjang. Tapi macam ada some context lah.
Ya, di konteks.
What is the point of telling this story? Activism in Malaysia is alive and well. Regardless of the epoch, of the era, of the generation.
The millennium. Yeah.
Alive and well. And if you were to look at the next 20 years in Malaysia, it's going to be alive and well also. In fact, I think it's going to be very active. Because now we have a lot more youth movements in Malaysia, right? Like
Mandiri, LRD, Negara Rakyat Demokratik.
Ada lagi. Banyak kan?
Parti Sasa.
Komrad Muda.
Bonda Komrad. Banyak lah. Ya. Banyak lah aspire to be ni. Tak tahu dalam daftar ke tak kan, tapi ya, oops, I'm sorry.
Tak apa.
Kita sembang ke.
Dia usually NGO ada daftar bawa akta persatuan Societies Act 65. Kalau tak daftar, is known as NGO haram. Persatuan haram. But again, the power, okay, so sometimes the state, the government doesn't allow some NGOs to be registered. And so, like, I think Suara, they are founded as a company because they cannot register as an NGO. Even Sister Islam, known as Sis Forum, is a company, right? Not an NGO, not allowed. The question is, but what are the dynamics between youth and power? Do any of these things I mentioned just now, ABIM, Bersih, Reformasi, API, Muda, UD18, do they have impact, generally speaking, on governance of people in power? Do they get to be in power, or these are just annoying things that the people in power can just brush aside? Yeah, kacau. What do you think?
Starting off very strong. It's very nice. I hope you guys are ready to hear my answer. My answer is, your question exists in dalam dua bentuk lah, two forms, right? Satu, adakah gerakan-gerakan pemuda ni dia memberi impact? Okay. Dan yang kedua, adakah gerakan pemuda ni dapat masuk ke tampuk kekuasaan? Can get into power? I'm going to answer the second part first. Second part is yes. If you look at all this history of all this previous youth movement, whatever it is, right? I think not all, but a substantial amount of these leaders, they actually got into position of power. They became part of the government, they was in the government, they can be, they put themselves in a position of power. Yeah. But whether they can bring impact or not is very much debatable. Very much debatable. I said, okay, if you look at just positive, the rough positive, I mean, what's it? Not net lah, the gross positive. Sure, ada. Which is in the recent times, it got the 80. Even during ABIM's time, we've got people much more aware of the political. I mean, if we draw comparison during the previous time of ABIM and during time of ABIM, youth is very much like politically charged.
Yeah.
Right after that, even if you talk to some randos on the street or the sawah padi ke apa ke, they will know all these concepts. Because like I said in Salina novel, written by Samad Said, in the novel Samad Said dia bagi tahu dekat dalam buku tu satu babak je lah. Yang parti ahli politik ni dia bagi tahu orang kampung, bagi tahu orang muda, okey, undi simbol cangkul. Sebab kamu adalah petani, mesti cangkul. Macam the political nuance is not there lah. There's the time of Salina lah. Right, fresh after Merdeka. That's how bad or how daft the general population of the regarding the politics. I mean, politics is very much the plating of the people who are well read. Yeah, but it's different than Abi. Yeah. Gross positive, true, ada sebenarnya. Tak disangka-sangka lagi. Tetapi kita tengok net positif lah. Like Zaim said lah, whether this kind of movement can be brushed off by government or not. No. Government or any figure of power, they cannot brush this off because the zeitgeist, of what these people are fighting for are very much there. If they dismiss it, they're gonna risk a political rift. That's why Tun Mahathir, he is so quick at integrating Anwar Ibrahim.
Co-opting.
Yeah, they co-opting. So the keyword is co-option. So once they co-opted this figure, the thing that they are fighting for became it dissolved, it dissipated, became nothing because if the leaders are in the position of power, and it reduced the potency of the issue. Take for example the recent. Take a much more recent example. I don't want to mention names, but last week there's a website being running around the rounds of social media. Parliamentarian Monitor.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I will patch it in the and they look at all these parliamentarians, all the ministers, how much they was paid, what are the things that they are actually taking, and there's one youth minister, part of the youth minister didn't actually do anything. I mean, he or she spoke, they spoke, sorry. Yeah. But a lot of this dia punya kawan-kawan lah, pemuda punya kawan-kawan, dia express some disappointment lah.
Sure.
Disappointment is on education.
Ah.
Yeah, and I said, no, the point is, even though this person is fighting for so long, once they go into the government, automatically people will express disdain to this person and the issue.
Yeah.
Once you call people a hypocrite, the issue that the person will, it becomes devalued. Can devalue so much so that became nothing. So the interplay between youth and idealism, I think we shouldn't, like I said lah, affix so much of a inherentism towards any of this. Right? If you are youth, doesn't mean that you are progressive, that you can bring much of progress.
Yeah.
And if you are idealist, doesn't mean that you need youth.
Yeah.
And all these things actually are still enslaved by the harsh and cruel factors of power. Whether you can enact power or not, right? For example, in the US, right? If you look at the Republican lineup, how many of them are youth? Karen Levy, young. J.D. Vance, very young, very young. Who else? There's a lot of young people lah. Even Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, very young, very young. Not just in US, also in the UK, a lot of the British First people very young. Yeah, British First in Italy, Giorgia Meloni, young also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who's the peace Nobel Peace Prize recipient, Machado, right? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, her name is Machado lah. So Machado, very young but very right wing, very right wing. Who else? And I can
Venezuela.
Venezuela, yeah,
and,
Machado, very right wing.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that Maduro is okay, not to say that, but Machado himself is very right wing.
Yeah.
Or
call for invasion of Venezuela.
Yeah, it's true. Even like the Ukrainian
President.
president,
Yeah.
Volodymyr Zelensky.
Yeah.
And even so much so to Putin's rival himself, Alexander Navalny. Alexander Navalny is actually very young but very right wing.
He passed away.
He passed away. I mean, God rest his soul. But his ideas is not that much different than Putin. Even so, right, there's a record of interview between him and some reporters. Say that what do we do on the question of Ukraine? They say Ukraine is very much part of Russia. He said he have the same thing, but the only difference between Alexei Navalny and Putin is they both wanted to be in the same position lah. That goes without, but I digress lah.
So young people are not necessarily always pushing for change. They can be right wing. They can be the one reinforcing the existing system.
Yes, yeah. Because how to say to advocate for progressive values, to advocate for progressive ideas, to advocate for things that are memang progressive lah, ke depan, yang maju dan sebagainya. You need to actually read.
Yeah.
You need to actually be informed. If you are not informed, you will exist on the same framework as the status quo. And you will recreate the same stuff as before. Idealism said, what you want is different, but what you can do. Like, I want to be a prime minister, but I cannot. Yeah, enough joke lah. Yeah, but what you want to do is different than what you can. Take for example the question of education in Malaysia. We wanted to free a lot of Malaysian people, Malaysian who studied di Menara Gading daripada bebanan hutang, kena pinjam semua. The question is easy. The solution is easy. You can just pardon. And make the university system free.
Yeah.
Sebenarnya. But because you pergi apa nama tu, workshop, organizational workshop, you pergi all this cheapening stuff, you pergi all this pergi ke universiti yang besar-besar. What you learn? You learn, you must govern the country like this. You must have ada certain pulangan dan semua. And when you come back to Malaysia, or you come back from the studies, you come back from this workshop, you are inheriting the old school way of thinking, right? I wanted to give a very big example, but I don't know if you wanted to jump in. Okay. One very big example lah.
Too long is not. I think you should end it more.
Boleh. I like to speak to that long also. Satu contoh lah yang aku nak bagi lah kan. We think of the very nucleus of progressive politics, the Soviet Union. Yeah. Itu all across the aisle, people say, okay, that is the most progressive project. Even till now, right? So Lenin, the story of Lenin, right?
Yeah.
So Lenin, after the revolution, after the old regime yang lama dah dibungkam, dah dikambus, tiba-tiba dia ada masalah. Dia cakap, macam mana kita nak run this country? Even for doing basic accounting, the original accounting stuff, kira how many grains are in the bowls, kira how many fertilizers are actually needed by these farmers. It's actually a big task. And also, the size of Russia is very big. The size of Soviet Republic is very big, even though dia dah di set up kecil-kecil. So what happens, Lenin realized that a lot of his cadres are activists, are youth.
Yeah.
Youth, waktu tu quite young lah. A lot of cadres are youth, activists, and a lot of them are sometimes the people who support it are farmers and the peasants lah. Yeah. But the peasants cannot do anything. They cannot read. They cannot do math. So Lenin argued dekat dalam dia punya, if I'm not mistaken, dekat dalam the Congress lah.
Yeah.
Dia bagi tahu, okay, what we must do, we actually have to, because of the political necessity, we have to integrate a lot of civil servant from the old Tsarist regime. And to assuage, untuk menenangkan kritikan-kritikan orang berkenaan dengan adakah civil servant Tsarist ni akan loyal to the Soviet Republic, adalah dia akan establish komisar, which is pengawasan badan disiplin. Dan waktu tu memanglah there will be some uptick lah.
Yeah.
But that actually make the Soviet economy susceptible to sabotage, susceptible to falling back into regress back to the Tsarist practice, and also contribute to the bloating of the bureaucracy. Because waktu tu, they noticed that all the Tsarist civil servants, all this well-read literati, they didn't want to cooperate that much. They actively sabotage.
Yeah.
When they actively sabotage, they have to double the political commissar. When they double the political commissar contribute to the burdening of the state.
Yeah.
So that cycle that ran over and over and over down to the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Yeah. And that's the most supreme example for me, the idealist project, without really understanding the political reality at hand. Yeah. Not to say that we need to pull a break on activism, pull a break on revolutionary vigor, revolutionary grandeur. No. But like Zizek said, the real task of revolution is what happens after the revolution. How do we build? Bagaimana? Kita, all these people, the youth activists and the CSOs in Malaysia, I'm talking nationally, don't talk about democracy, don't talk about this kind of thing. Talk about impunity.
Yeah.
Or raising, lowering the bar of entry for political participation. And then, when the same youth they are supposed to fight, fighting for, turns back against them and vote for the other regressive party, you feel angry. No, you shouldn't feel angry. That's not the way. That's not how it's supposed to be. Falling back into, because the political reality is just that. when you lower bar to enter without raising competency, you will create a bunch of seredak lah. Ah,
Civic awareness lah.
civic awareness.
Civic awareness. To be fair to the dating folk, I think they are quite not partisan.
Very not.
I think it's the liberals that complain because many of the liberals, I hate using this word, but you get my point. Those who are more liberal, they supported dating strongly, and then when a lot of the young people, I suppose majority of it, plurality, voted for the right wing position, the liberals felt like, oh, we shouldn't have given them the right to vote. This is not the point of it. Assuming that the people are supposed to vote for progressive parties. It doesn't make sense. The principle is the one that should stand. Not who they vote for.
I should probably offer my apology because we haven't really yet established what is liberal. For me, liberal is fiscally and policy-wise conservative, but socially liberal. Socially liberal, socially liberal.
So the liberalism in essence basically means fighting for freedom.
Freedom.
Right? And this freedom is not just politics. So it's not just freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of whatever. It's also economics, right?
Yeah.
And liberalism has multiple, I suppose, groups. You have classical liberals. These are people that believe in the free market. Also believe that society should be free, generally speaking. I think all liberals agree that individuals have has a number of rights. They are inalienable. That these are inherent, okay, based on human rights. All liberals agree with this. Now the different groups. So classical liberals, they believe in I suppose a laissez-faire economy. And then you have what you call neoclassical liberals, aka neoliberals.
Neoliberal.
These people believe that it's basically they believe in markets on steroids.
Yeah.
Like, there should be as few regulations as possible. Markets should be the ones that are determining society. Adam Smith was not a neoliberal. Adam Smith was a classical liberal.
That's correct.
In fact, Adam Smith doesn't believe in minimal regulation. Adam Smith actually believed that market should determine the economy, but not at the expense of society. A bit towards that. It was like a misquote Adam Smith. Right? So he's some kind of evil capitalist.
Yeah.
He's not. Actually,
go read Wealth of Nation.
Actually, Adam Smith was a decent guy.
Yeah.
He was a decent guy. People always misquote Adam Smith lah.
Betul.
And then you have
Will Smith boleh.
Adam Smith, Will Smith. Dia pernah buku juga, Will Smith. Kita by Mark Manson. Then you have social/modern liberals. Okay. So these are, I use the word interchangeably, but essentially social or modern liberals, they believe in more progressive social issues lah. LGBT, climate, okay, more progressive, right? So it's like they believe that the state should enhance individual freedom.
Betul.
Whereas a lot of the classical liberals believe that the state should always be it should refrain itself from interfering with the individual's lives. But modern liberals believe no, the state should empower and should augment individual liberties. I think what you call positive freedom.
Positive freedom.
Positive freedom basically means the state should be providing healthcare, education, welfare, stuff like that. Classical liberals and neoliberals believe that negative freedom. The less the government is involved, the freer we were going to be. Modern liberals also believe that economy, in terms of economy, the state should have a bigger hand in the economy. Sometimes people like to confuse modern liberals, social liberals, with socialist democrats and democrat socialists.
Yeah.
They are kind of similar, but socialist democrats actually come from a different rumah, different house. Socialists, not the same as the liberal house. It's something is insulting for people to say, oh, you're just a liberal, when the person actually is a socialist democrat. They're actually different.
Yeah.
Different house, different shit. Right? We digress. So, back to the topic. It was an explainer. Right?
Yeah, explainer. Very, very needed.
Very needed, yeah. So, this idea of when you're in power, right? Why do you act differently. And maybe let's use a more recent example. Adam Ali
Mm.
recently was reassigned to he was reassigned as the Deputy Minister of Higher Education. Previously, he was the Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports.
Mm.
And then when he was appointed as Deputy Minister of Higher Education, people were criticizing him because he has failed to act on PTPTN, which is basically, I think, student loans. Student loans. He wanted, when he was an activist, he called for government to abolish debt repayment. So he did
Maafkan hutang.
for like a
Debt forgiveness.
like a debt forgiveness, then amnesty.
Amnesty.
Like let's cancel all the loans, right? Because these loans are already people, young people. And then now that he's in government for 2-3 years already, people say, how come you haven't made any progress to PTPT? I'm not entirely familiar with the context, but I think he did explain to say that they are looking into it, they're doing something about it, they're trying to make it less stringent. But the fact remains, why is it there are two Adam Alis? Adam Ali pre-government activist, Adam Ali government deputy minister. And why are they different individuals that speak differently now? To your point, I think when you're in power, you start realizing that there's so many things you cannot do. It's not as simple as abolish PTPTN. I think what will happen is when you go in office, literally office, the officer for PTPTN, the CEO comes and says, sir, if you abolish loans, the government has to pay 100 billion ringgit. Where are we going to get the money from? Right? Budget doesn't appear nowhere, right? If you do budget reallocation, yes, money has to be taken from somewhere. Do we raise taxes? Do we raise taxes on new students? Do we take budget for another department, which is never going to happen? Different ministry, never going to happen. What do we do? Because this is on the books. You can just remove it. Right? It doesn't magically disappear.
Yeah.
So I think this is where you campaign in you campaign in poetry, but you govern in prose. And I think this is a very famous quote by one of the American politicians, right?
Mark Twain.
Is it? That
No.
More recent.
More recent.
That yes, when you campaign with style, gaya. Yes, right? You got jingles, rhetorics, right? But when you govern with policy in mind. You govern with nuance. And you communicate. You have to communicate that when you have an issue, for example, I believe this idea of job guarantee, that every Malaysian in this country, when you enter the labor workforce, you should be entitled to a local government job. Not a civil service job, local government job. You can walk into any of the local authorities and get a job off the shelf that is based on needs of the local government.
Yeah.
And I think this is a concept called JG, job guarantee.
Job guarantee.
Right? It costs about, I think the next 5-7% of the annual budget. If you do that, you can actually visit, you can actually get more taxation. You can reverse migration. People go back to kampung and work. You can do a lot of things. Essentially, practically eliminate poverty, eliminate a lot of social issues. Now, this is on theory and on paper. If I ever become Minister of Human Resources and I try to implement this, I know for a fact it's going to be difficult, if not impossible. I know for a fact, right? But this is where you become smart and say, how do I still implement this at the level that I can? For example, pilot project at the district with the highest poverty or the highest unemployment. So you are reducing the gap between your promise, election promise, and the policy and the implementation itself. This is needed because idealism itself is not enough to bring change. You must be pragmatic to realize the change. Because too often, like what happened in, I think in Bangladesh now, they call it the revolution when Sheikh Hasina was removed. After 1 year after the revolution, a lot of Bangladeshis are feeling disillusioned with the de facto leader, Professor Yunus, because he's not able to deliver on the promises that he did, right? Obviously, it's not easy to govern, right? We never understand we're not in office, but I think you must always communicate the constraints that you have and work towards implementing those changes. You cannot just say, "Oh, I can't do it because of these issues."
Yeah,
I think that's not okay, lah.
Yeah,
I think of Obama and Obamacare. Obama actually, when he wanted to do Obamacare, it was impossible, lah. He couldn't do it. Like, not enough votes in the Senate, or he had enough votes, but I think they were opposition from the Democrats. Oh, the payments will go up. The insurance companies want to cover the poor people. But he pushed through. He really did push through. Right? Because he used all of this political capital on that particular key policy pillar. So there is, but he was a young man when he did that. So there is a example of being pragmatic, working with the system, and focusing all of your power and capital on that particular key issue. You cannot spend all your political capital on every single issue. Does it make sense? But you can spend most of it on one or two issues only.
Yeah. Even if you are an activist, you are still a politician.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. Do not delude yourself. Even if that you are fighting for, if you feel that that topic is a noble cause, right? It's still a political issue.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Dia blow my nose.
Tak apa bro, tak apa. Dia memang zaman hujan je ni.
Well, that's fine. It's good. So that you don't hear me double. Hold on the mic. You don't hear me doubling. I'll fight for the change, but also be pragmatic.
Yeah.
I'm like, when you do your policy campaigns, not even young people,
Yeah.
policy changes, always make sure at the last slide or the last page, the roadmap.
Yeah.
How do we implement this?
Betul.
And think as a policy maker.
Yes.
If you were a minister, how would you implement this?
Betul.
Because if you can communicate that plan,
Yeah,
and tell people, I tried doing this and it failed, people can still accept.
Yeah.
Because they say, okay, you know what? You probably say you tried to implement but you failed. People can still accept that. But people cannot accept when you say you cannot do that.
Yeah.
And they don't know whether you did it or not. They don't know. Like Rafizi can, progressive wage model. Yeah, it was pilot, now it's standard, no longer government, but at the very least, Rafizi, he tried to push for it. Whether he delivered or not is secondary because
he gets so much respect for it.
Because he, at the very least, did the pilot project.
Yeah.
And not just that, he expanded that project despite political opposition from his own party, from the government.
Yeah.
He did it. And people will not give him crap for that, right? He tried his very best to get it.
Yeah.
So this type of, and he communicated also. So I think this is important because I'm talking about former Minister of Economy, Rafizi. So it's important that we think of it in the 21st century. The days of slogans and promises are over. I think this is a day where you have AI. You have a tool that can help you understand what could be the potential challenges and opportunities to implement policy.
Also find the path of least resistance. Yeah. Now the shutter has been like turning back to me.
Sorry, no man. I can do all the hard work, man.
Yeah, but I do have a few things to, not a few things, a lot of things to say. Right? Okay. It's a thought experiment. How much an issue must be a problem or unsolvable problem till you realize that it is systemic? Right? I think the answer is not very long. Take for example, I'm a stickler for everything clean. I don't like anything unclean. I don't like anything like full of trash. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I think it is inexcusable.
Yeah.
Inexcusable. Like if I was elected to be the Prime Minister, tomorrow, the first policy that I want to push for is the federal level campaign of cleanliness. No roadside trash, no everything. I will even if I can ever personally fund the PBTs to have a TikTok level of waste management. That is my point of campaign.
Will you also pick up trash?
I will personally pick up trash and say, "Wait, you tak buat kerja ke? Aku buat I'm elected. I will pick up the trash and I will put it. And I will go to Rawang. Not Rawang lah. Bukit Tagar je. Bukit Tagar. The landfill in Bukit Tagar. Yeah, Bukit Tagar. Go to landfill and say, kenapa busuk? I paid you how many? Tak cukup duit ke? Right? Because my grandfather and my great grandfather was a government servant. So they occupied quite a high place in the government. Sure. And then they said that every time dia pergi ke some office yang patut dibuat lawatan, the first thing he wanted to go to is to the toilet. And if the toilet is smelly, he knows that the office will not deliver anything that he wanted for them to show. then that kind of value been instilled in me lah. Yeah. So that's dia punya ni. anyhow. So, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's quite a long anecdote lah.
Wait. I understand properly.
Yeah.
If you don't clean your toilet properly, it also is a sign that you'll be not doing your job properly.
Yeah. That you're not managing, that your workers are lazy, that you are not a good leader for managing the ni ke apa ke. Yeah. The toilet is important.
Check your toilets.
Check your toilet. Especially mama.
Oh, this is check. Clean your toilet. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Mamas are very clean toilet.
Yeah. I go to, and if you notice, the mama will have a very clean toilet. Basically no problem. Tak ada problem.
Yeah, for the people not in Malaysia, mama is basically our usual place that we eat. Is usually run by Indian Muslim.
Indian Muslims.
It's for Muslim people.
Yeah. The same goes to like kopitiam.
Kopitiam is very Chinese.
Cafe ten.
Chinese cafes.
Chinese
Just giving translation for people who not from Malaysia.
Not from Malaysia. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah. That's the rule lah. If you is my grandfather and my great grandfather like it's still like if you become a boss ke apa ke, that's what the first thing that you must do to know that whether your underlings are working in standard.
To check the toilets.
Check toilets. Because toilet is a basic thing. Everyone uses a toilet. No one's gonna clean afterward. If you go to toilet, you see the toilet is not flush. What does it tell you about the character of the people? Right? You're not very detailed about this stuff.
Save water.
Huh?
So wait for people to
Yeah, that is what they call misplaced austerity. Continue. Okay. So when I go to when I was quite small, okay, I go to all these places, all these pasar, and see a lot of sampah and I think, oh, should have kenapa all the government tak kutip sampah, all the people tak kutip sampah semua kan. And I tried to think of the ways that we can solve this problem lah. The problem of uncleanliness and the dirty places in public area, public spaces.
Yeah.
And the more I complain, the more I put myself in the shoes of policymakers, the more I realize that it is not a problem that can be easily solved. It's not a one issue problem. It's a systemic problem. Why there's a lot of trash at the roadside? First, because there's an overlapping jurisdiction PBT and federal punya places, right? Macam siapa? Who's responsible for this? If you go to like all the federal land or the federal road, see all the trash is at the side, siapa? And even if there's a clear jurisdiction, is the PBT well funded to manage this? How many rounds they can do? They can go. In Seremban, for example, they provided trash can for each and every household. It's a very good initiative by the district in Seremban. Yeah, and there's a noticeable increase of say the yuran lah, the PBT fees and stuff.
Yeah.
But it screams one thing lah. This thing is very systemic. Think of one thing very simple thing that you might feel that it is quite easy, but if you think long enough, it's actually very systemic. One thing.
Yeah, I keep thinking about this when you say this. I drive a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that every day there's always someone throwing rubbish outside the window. The car window, right? And for me, it was like, isn't it's illegal? Isn't that? I mean, enforcement, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be a better way to enforce road behavior?
Yeah. Yeah.
Signaling, cutting people, road rage. I don't know what this is standing, but I suspect maybe it is. When I used to study in Australia.
Yeah.
And people there are I'm not saying Australians are nicer people.
Yeah.
But they drive really well.
Yeah.
Like you won't find people cutting you. They signal because what happens is in where I studied in Australia, Victoria, Victoria, they actually had at one point about 30-40 years ago the highest rate of accidents. And now they have among the lowest. Because it took them 20-30 years to make sure that with proper campaign and regulation and enforcement, that the people are driving properly. So it was a systemic issue. That people were driving like crazy.
Yeah.
Accident everywhere.
Yeah.
But after 30-40 years, they are now a model. And when I drive in Malaysia, using my Australian experience, it's a nightmare. Like when you people have internalized the problem driving here. Like for example, when you drive and people want to turn signal to turn left. So what I do is I only stop so they can come in. Some people they are confused. Oh, why is the guy so nice? No, you signal, I give you way. Right? This is why you signal, right? The one thing even that I cannot stand Malaysia is when you signal to go to a lane, and the guy from the other lane is driving faster and going to hit your car.
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic.
Yeah, what's the point?
What is the point? You know that you're not going to win, right?
Yeah.
My car is only in the lane.
Yeah.
If you drive faster, you're going to hit my car.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is not a problem, right? I don't know if I ever become Prime Minister, but one of the top 10 things I'll do is just one. I'll make sure that, come PM, or if I'm camping one day, if one day I become PM, top 10 things is to fix the road shoe.
Yeah.
Fix how people drive.
And for how many years we put all the advertisement in the TVs, on the billboards, say drive carefully. When has it ever worked? It only worked when there's enforcement, there's people, there's incentives, right? They're being smart about it, right? And this is just, like I said, this is a problem of stretch, problem of road rage in the traffic.
Yeah.
What more, the problem of promising people free education?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there comes to a point where if you move like far enough in your political career, you need to recognize that a lot of things are systemic.
Yeah.
A lot of things that are systemic, a lot of things that are tied to the power, and not power in terms of people holding the throne or anything. No. The underlying power system.
Yeah, for sure.
The underlying power system. I'll say we go to, say for example, you studied in the UK, isn't it?
Okay,
yeah. And then we also go to, we went to Shenzhen.
China.
Yeah. And most of these places, they build quite a lot. There's a lot of construction happening.
Yeah.
And you never see sepah-sepah tepi jalan. They clean it. Why? Because there's regulation and there's enforcement.
It's very safe also.
They're safe.
The roads, the streets safe.
Yeah. Yeah, and we actually quite malu lah. China have sizable population.
Yeah.
And their incidence of accidents is quite low.
Yeah.
Betul tak?
And it's so well governed, right? You see the sense that we walk, wow, I know.
Yeah, and
in order, right?
Yeah, and compared to Malaysia, banyak incident. Yeah. We are, our population is the size of
Shenzhen.
Shenzhen.
Probably is, right?
Yeah, probably is.
I think it is, right?
Yeah.
23 million. I'm pretty sure Shenzhen is that size.
Yeah. So that's
check.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Shenzhen's population. I'm pretty sure Shenzhen population. Okay, half.
Half.
17 million. Yeah, half.
Yeah.
Half of the city. The city has half of Malaysia's population.
Yeah. So that's what the point that I'm trying to make is we need to think. We all not we. Yeah. No, my point is not that we need to think. We need to be aware of the systemic things.
Yeah.
And when you're aware of the systemic things, then you can is that it's connecting. Yeah.
His eyes are
Yeah.
His eyes check.
I think can.
Can I add a dimension?
Yeah.
Systemic is actually a very good point.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm going to be fair towards the CSOs or NGOs that we mentioned just now, like what Liga Rakyat Demokratik. Who else? Mandiri, all these guys, right? I'm sure there's a post
PSM.
We're not PSM lah. Just the NGOs lah. The NGOs, right? CSOs, right?
They are NGOs. Go joking.
PSM? Don't get this in. Okay, anyway, so the CSOs and the NGOs, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think the issues that we champion, it doesn't have to be issues that are of high magnitude.
Yeah.
People care about boring issues.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned just now, municipal councils, city councils, local governments. The governments are actually afraid of one thing. They're not afraid if people are being arrested without, unlawfully detained, right? Governments are afraid when the cash are not picked up on time.
Yeah.
These are actually boring issues.
Betul.
Governments are afraid when everyday issues that people see are not being managed properly.
Yeah.
Governments are afraid of that. Federal government, even though it's a local government issue, federal government is afraid of that. And I suppose one thing if I wish NGOs would champion more is champion the everyday issues. Like jobs. This is a nice issue. Not just unemployment, under unemployment. Unemployment ratio is doing really well. So 2025, our unemployment is about 3%. At the high level, it was about 5% because of COVID. It's 3% now. But if you look, there's a headline figures, yeah. If you look below that figure, look at under unemployment, which is skills related, it's about close to 40%. It mostly affects young graduates. So I wish more CSOs and NGOs would focus more on this type of issues. The boring issues. These are boring.
Yeah.
The boring issues that nobody wants to talk about because it can be technical, it can be boring. But I wish that there is more emphasis by CSOs and NGOs to talk about these issues. That because these are Percaya, this is a risable issue. People care about.
Yeah.
If you are able to touch those issues, and champion that effectively, I think people will see, okay, these guys, I can follow them if they talk about human rights or other issues similar to that, right? But they focus on these key issues first, the Percaya issues.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I talk to these people, and I don't want to generalize, right? But I used to be part of a space, right? Right? So I used to be part of a space, and I know for a fact that economic issues are not part of the list.
Yeah.
I remember I wrote a report. So I was one of the contributors to the report. I was the only one that touched on economic rights. I was the only one that talked about it. Like we have 70-page report, and I have half page on economic rights. Everything else all about political, cultural, religious, right? Economic, half page. I was just bewildered. This issue is so important. It should be
at the forefront.
You should be talked to it at least.
Yeah, right. Listen.
Human rights, economic, right? The reason is because government is already doing it. Yeah, I'm sure they will say, parties are talking about it every day. They're not. They're not talking about it every day. They're talking about Olympic issues. Issues that are happening every day for entertainment, right?
They're talking about exchange rate.
Talking about factional fight, ignorant opposition parties. This is not an issue that people care about. People talk about this issue because it's entertaining.
Yeah, they're talking about dogs in the malls.
Oh, dogs in the mall. Dogs in the mall.
Yeah, dogs in the mall.
Or Chinese minister is not the minister of federal territories. It's not an issue. People talk about it. People don't talk about the issue in the first place. People read this news because it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But they actually care about the boring issues.
Yeah.
So for activists, for young people, right? And I'm also part of this group, right? And I try to do it the best I can. Things like AI. No one's talking about it. From a policy lens, I don't see NGOs talking about it.
Yeah.
I think it's so important, right? It's not as technical as you think, but it's important because it's going to affect our livelihoods.
Yeah. Solar flare detection? No.
You're right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the effects of it,
Effects,
right? On climate.
On climate, yeah.
So this is absolutely key. The lack of focus on Percaya or risable issues actually is a big problem. People care about boring issues. They may not talk about it, but they care about it. And so if we can focus on these issues which are boring but important, we're going to get somewhere. And we're going to grow the civil society and the civic space.
Yeah.
Halas. So it's not over yet, right?
Belum lagi Pak Lu. Walau plus kita sembang. Okay, one thing lah, I very penat lah dengar lah is a word low hanging fruit. Get out of here, though. Low hanging fruit. What do you mean low hanging fruit? The root itself is rotten. You at this point you need to uproot the tree and burn it and toss it to Bukit Tagak.
Must be a revolutionary, right?
No,
which party are you from?
I don't care. I don't care which party ke apa. But you do not delude yourself over this low hanging fruit, this PAC punya stuff ke apa ke. No. PSC lah, Parliamentary Select Committee.
The tree is a system.
Huh?
Is it Trinity system?
The three sister.
So you want to make a Marxist system?
No, I'm not trying to make a Marxist system. Like it is, if I want to make a Marxist system, it will be a very good system lah. But I'm
Please.
yeah, but I am working in the framework of the power system we have right now, right? Like this low hanging fruits, whatever you call you call it lah. The police supervision ke apa ke, it all revolves about one simple thing, which is whether the thing that you want to change is coherent or not with the current system that we have. And as long as the current power structure exists and sustain, then any changes they will allow.
Yeah.
They will not allow any changes if it disrupt the current power system.
Okay.
Like for example, back to education. We screams about the education system, whatever, we free the education system. But you must remember, right? Our education industry is very lucrative.
Yeah.
Right? It's very lucrative. And for sure lah, if you raise the idea of making education system much more accessible, there will be people say, oh, then what about my punca rezeki?
Yeah.
Right? What about this kind of thing? And it screams so much more evidently about the underlying system, the underlying economic system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we no matter how lah you wanna go, no matter what kind of issue you wanna play, if you didn't even lay bare the skeleton of the structure, you will be subjected to it. I think, because my like Islamist stuff, the political Islamism. Political Islamism from the times of Dr. Burhanuddin Helmi to the times of Mustafa Zanor, till the times of Aziz, until what we have now. You can see a clear progression of what the kind of thing that they are championing, right? At first, they wanted a much more truthful. They said, when we have Islamic rule, when you have Islamic system in place, instead of our secular government, we will be going back to the times of Umar al-Khattab, which is economic liberation for all, right? God will give bountiful balasan lah, rezeki lah to all of us. But after these people are in the government, can they do anything about it? No. This is just co-opted by this the very secular system in place. Why it was co-opted? Because whenever they are in the folds of the government, they feel some level of impossibility. This artificial impossibility, right? Like I am a proponent of public transportation, mass mobility. Say, I wanted for all of us to move beyond cars and go straight to trains, right? I swear lah, even if I got into the government, went there and I want to push this, say I wanted to make people wanted to go into go use public transportation. They will say, but public transportation, prasarana, mana ada revenue, mana ada profit, right? And even if you want to do this, you want to convert these highways, the source of national income, to public transportation. There's a loss of another income.
Not just national income, but industries.
Automotive industries. And there's some level of impossibility over there. But mind you, this is artificial impossibility. What?
Pausing now.
Pausing.
So,
1, 2.
Something drop. Someone drop.
Yeah, man. I think here. Yeah. Bantu my microphone.
You got?
Yeah, tak apa, it's okay.
You got?
Yeah.
It's 3 people now.
3 people.
Just now there was 4.
Yeah. Can you speak to your mic?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, should work it.
In this impossibility.
Artificial impossibility. Yeah, because we are. It is hard to imagine something better, something outside of this realm of the current situation.
Can I ask you, you mentioned about systemic issues, right?
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that changing the system wholesale or tinkering at the edges? I'm not quite clear.
It's not changing the system wholesale. Even if you want to change the system wholesale,
It's impossible, right?
it will go back to we find ourselves right at the same problem that Lenin faced, which is they have to work with the current
Apparatus.
apparatus,
Old system.
whole system. Yeah. But all I'm saying is the very simple stuff, the very simple solution to all this, it cuts through all this. It's just what? Yeah. Pausing.
Pausing.
sorry.
But from what we see now is someone dropped.
Someone dropped. I think my phone.
Yeah, there was 4 people, not there's 3.
Yeah. It's okay.
You sure?
Yeah, sure. No, don't worry about it.
What was the phone called?
Phone is backup.
Oh,
Backup, right?
this one.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So go back to the change. So you're saying that not systemic, not wholesale systemic change.
No wholesale systemic change.
But also not tinkering at edges, right?
No.
So not this, what do you call it? Incremental compromise change, right?
This because I'm saying that you can do the tactics and goals is irrelevant to the conversation. What's stopping us from actually having at least a direction to the better progress of future is actually the false ideas of falling back in line.
Okay.
The party the party loyalty ke apa ke, that is so behind us.
Yeah.
We shouldn't think about the loyalty to the party ke apa. No, we shouldn't think about that. But what we should think is how do we serve the people. Okay, I tell you one thing basically a lot of people who even I think our listeners if our listeners will agree,
all 5 of them,
I love you guys, right? Yeah, I sure hope that you
one of you is my son.
wait ada ni. Okay, padam ni. Okay. Mana tadi? Oh yeah, they will say, all these people in Kedah, in Kelantan, in Terengganu, they're voting for the wrong party. Don't they know their interest? Don't they know they are working against their interest? And I say, I put my hand on the table, and I say, no, they are not working against their interest. They know exactly what's their interest. They know exactly what is the interest. It's just this, all these big things are completely irrelevant to them. Why did they vote? Why did they vote for in the recent Sabah election? There's a one pass that won a seat. I forgot his name.
Yeah. He's a very grassroots guy.
Yeah. And we were asking, why do you vote for him? Oh, he actually participate in our kampung.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why UMNO lost, why UMNO won in the first place, why Barisan Alternative can take grounds. The reason is the old OG UMNO, they are fighting for something very close to their heart.
Yeah.
What do they fight for? UMNO in the kampung said, subsidi baja. Oh, instant win dekat Felda apa? Boh pula. Instant win. Apa lagi? Pasal subsidi petrol ke, subsidi diesel ke? Brand mati isu. Bantuan Agrobank. Like my grandfather, when they want to go to nak apply for some loan, ada program under the government, and then that win them. It is totally useless for us to talk about all these high and abstract issues like human rights. What does it mean?
Careful about that. Or you say society will be so angry.
I don't care lah. Rightfully so. If you are angry, then I struck at the right button. It's part of the conversation. I don't care. but I should care. I should care lah. But anyhow, like for example, like our Madani concept, whether it is philosophically sound or not. No, who cares?
Yeah.
Only you and your circle cares about this. It is only relevant to you, right?
Agree. Actually, the Madani Malaysia Madani piece is a bit confusing. I don't think anyone can actually give a straightforward answer. If you ask all 30 cabinet ministers, all 30 will give different answers.
It's true.
That's how confusing this concept is. Like Indonesia has a very good concept. Cabinet bekerja.
Yeah. Betul.
Working.
Yeah, working lah.
Right?
Betul.
Right? It's clear and simple.
And people can understand, and it fights directly at the heart of the problem.
It's boring, but it is important. So this is actually what I was talking earlier, right? Like, I think this is your point from the previous episode also, that AI is important, but don't forget the actual grassroots issue that we're facing, right?
Yeah.
The more important issues. What you mentioned in the previous episode was look at the issues first on the ground.
Yeah.
Right? Because the policy is a bit tied to reality on the ground. It's the same issue here also. I think the boring issue. So that's why I think, right, when you do budget for governments, right, if you can cut the fluff, cut the fat, all the stuff you don't need, you potong it. Right? All the stuff that is nice to have but don't have, you just cut.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can leave that 20% of the budget. And then you put that 20% into the stuff that people actually need.
It's true. Your stakeholder is not the investors. Your stakeholder is the rakyat.
This guy is so that piece. Yeah. Okay, so this is an interesting point. Just a bit of policy turning here.
Yeah.
Governments around the world put a heavy emphasis on FDI. So you guys also just DDI, FDI, but FDI is the game of the game now.
Yeah.
For direct investment. Because the idea is a neoliberal idea whereby if you can get investors to come in the country, pump in money to the development, create jobs, those jobs then will essentially allow people to pay taxes that will essentially reverberate around the economy, higher economic growth, right? But the main driver is not the government, it's the private sector. In this case, foreign private sector, which will also grow the local ecosystem.
Good.
So this is why people are investor friendly, because they want the money essentially to come from the foreign companies. Because they are not confident that the current government, because the current company, the local companies have the capacity to create those jobs.
Yeah.
So that's why they take a right turn lah.
Yeah.
Or market friendly, investor friendly. I get this, right? This is important. No one going to dispute that we can live by ourselves.
Yeah.
Autocracy.
We can do two things at once.
You can do it at the same time. Autarky, right?
Autarky.
Autarky is basically North Korea.
Yeah.
Live by yourself. And the point I think is there's main stakeholder is the rakyat.
Yeah.
And if you can show the rakyat that these three issues only are what I think rakyat cares about.
Like quarterly report.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So Najib used to do it actually. Najib government used to do this. And if you look at the Papandu, ETP, GTP, it was a brilliant stuff, right? I was fortunate to be part of the system. Brilliant stuff.
Waktu tu juga lah iklan banyak. Yeah, they iklan about the petani or the people.
They communicate, right? But because of other issues, he failed, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the current government, not just the current government, the past three governments also, it's not just the cops, but also the policy can be, I suppose, if you can just communicate three key policies that are addressing three key issues the rakyat is facing, people will respond positively. Now there's like 100.
Yes.
Data, NIMP, there's KL doing. There's so many policies. I feel like sometimes that, my God,
PWM.
They need to just say, look, this government stands for three things, right? Or one thing that we're trying to achieve, which they have, which is raising the floor and increasing the ceiling. So the poor people essentially will earn more, and then the country, I think, will prosper. I get the narrative, but I think it has to be a way that people can easily grasp. Oh, this government is about this thing, and not like a gazillion things. Because sometimes people get confused, like, what actually are we doing? You can't do everything. You should only just focus on one or two things that actually the people care about.
So
if his job is a job, deliver on that only. The rest can be done, right? The rest can be done, but the focus must be there. Because, like we say, right, idealism and power. Governments think about re-election. No doubt, they do. But the re-election comes when people see that, okay, you're fighting for issues that people care about. And rakyat, they care about issues that are not across racial lines. No such thing as a Malay problem or a Chinese problem. No?
Yeah.
Traffic jam is a Malaysian problem,
Yeah.
not a Chinese problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Tengok plate J.
Corruption
Yeah.
is not a Indian problem.
Yeah.
It's a Malaysian problem.
What's your problem?
Inflation is not a Indian problem. It's a Malaysian problem.
Mm.
And so if you look at the issues that we face, and the issues are the same every single time we look at the poll, Merdeka sector, look at all these polls, right? Economic issues always top 3.
Yeah.
It will never change.
Yeah.
It will never change. And so if the policy is addressing one or two issues that Raya is facing, you don't have to do a lot of comms
Yeah.
to all these people.
Betul lah. If you ask McKenzie, BCG, BGA, obviously kata comms and yeah, BGA. Yeah, obviously lah diorang kata about all these investors relevant points. But no. Your consulting group is the teachers at Tamika Kemas. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That is your consulting group. Go consult them. For heaven's sake. Tapi, okay.
Yeah, it's good point. Yeah.
Another point, and another example I want to give. I have a lot of examples on this.
Push, so already.
So long already. You want to end this? Oh. Yeah,
Maybe one last part before we do a closing.
Okay. In the family circle, they did a great job on formal access, like the Sidang ratified, and you can see
What's the door?
Huh?
What's the door?
The Convention for
Discrimination against women.
Against women. Yeah,
On the 2 out of 7 that is ratified under
Yes.
the international treaties.
Yes. Yeah. So they have ratified this, and they also increase the women and female access to education.
Yeah.
Right? So in Malaysia only, look, female participation in education all across the board is very high. But labor participation, very lagging. Very lagging. Why? And are we supposed to applaud ourselves based on this? If we investigate the reason why the woman participation in labor is so low, is because of one thing lah. It's because of they have to think about siapa nak jaga anak, siapa nak masak, right? Adakah ada duit? And they will fall back to the same patriarchal structure that shackled them in the first place. This is one of the classic examples. Yeah.
You sound like a feminist, sir.
I am an ally.
It's not actor.
We have a lot of feminists. We have a right-wing feminist. I'm sorry.
Continue, point.
Yeah, continue my point. So, this is one of the classic examples where formal access and formal equality is just not enough. You must think of the systemic issue, because these women, they fall back. And what they think, if you look at the voter sentiment, all these women who are in the rural areas or semi-rural areas, they're actively voting against the feminist issues.
Yeah.
The thing that actually gives them access. And you'll be surprised, a lot of them are doctors, a lot of them are army officers, right? Why? Because the systemic issues are still there. They are still there. They're still uncovered. There's still nothing to do. Nothing yet to improve the situation. And it comes to my concluding points. My concluding points is that policy, youth, idealism, and power. The main through line, the overarching theme is to recognize the underlying power, right? To caution idealism and to empower youth. That's it. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to say that, all youth tak boleh ke apa ke. We all, yelah kan, memanglah kan. Tapi, kalaulah, if our youth, like collectively, our youth and all the people collectively know, is it? Right.
Commercial break.
All the people know exactly, okay, the underlying issue, what I think that we can change, so on and so forth. Then immediately, I don't promise a better future, a better nation, but I do promise a better participation in democracy.
Yeah.
Much better flourishing in democracy. Yeah.
Agree. Yeah, we're very much in agreement with you. My closing remarks on this is idealism and pragmatism are not set. They're not opposites of each other. In fact, I think they are if anything like siblings. You must be idealistic in all cases because they are values that you hold as people hold. You should never forget that, right? Regardless of how old you are. When I started off my journey in foreign policy, I was 15 years old, reading the Malay dilemma. Yeah. I think quite old, right? But you also started reading at a young age, right? Reading deeply, right? And I remember at the time when I was 16, I thought of the Malaysian dream, that there was a Malaysian dream where all its sons and daughters would come together. And there was, I think you would call it Tunku Abdul Rahman's dream, but it was a Malaysian dream. I still think the dream is alive, right? Despite people trying to turn it into a Malay dream or Chinese dream, but it's still a Malaysian dream. And I'm 35 now. It's been 20 years.
20 years.
And I can tell you this, right? I've never been more idealistic in my life of the Malaysian dream. I have children, and I want to live in a country where all of us, other than the Malaysian son, are equal. Right? In every sense of the word. I have Chinese relatives, Indian relatives, Sarawakian relatives, right? My wife's side. And I'm idealistic. And there's a driving force. I know some people that lose idealism after some time. And I just don't understand why. Like, these are values you hold. This is inside you. Yeah? It's not something, I'm sure you can change your values over time. But idealism is important. You must always hold on to the idealism. Must always hold on. Now, how you get it will always change. Right? Sometimes you can do a frontal assault on this thing against government, protest. I've done it before. The rebel, rouser way, pragmatic reformist way.
Backdoor, attack.
Backdoor, side door, all doors, right? And that will change depending on the times that you're in, right? This government is a lot more open than the previous government. You have to say that, right?
Yeah.
It's true. And give credit to them. You can see these things that we see in our podcast and you will be arrested. So thank you so much for that, right, government? Pragmatism is important. You must be pragmatic. And pragmatism doesn't mean you compromise on your ideals. It just means that how do I achieve this outcome that I want in the best way possible? You'll be extremely pragmatic in this, right? Because pragmatism is based on real life. It's not based on, can I compromise my ideas so I can do it faster too? So idealism is something that you always must have and hold on regardless of your age. And pragmatism is the way of thinking of how to achieve those goals that you have. Right? It doesn't apply for public policy only. It applies for everything in life. Your career, your finances, your health, your wealth, your hobbies. Your hobbies. Idealism is always there. Don't ever lose that fire inside. And be pragmatic in achieving those goals. And for people that are more interested in politics, to our activist friends, if you're listening, champion issues that people care about. So that there's a saying by Zig Ziglar, I think, popular salesman. He says that give enough people what they want, and people will give you what you want. But first, you have to give people what they want. And eventually people will give you what you want. Right? So that
the low hanging fruit.
The low hanging fruit. So I think that's it for our
very long
episode on youth idealism and how.
So I think we can wrap this up. Thank you for listening and see you on our next installment.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.